The alien commander's final message to orbit was simple: send a rescue team. Static. Then, actually, send an army. The transmission cut off. Because the strongest warriors in the galaxy had just discovered something horrifying. The species they had mocked for decades lived on the most dangerous planet ever classified. A world of predators, poison, gravity, storms, diseases, and somehow the humans called it home. There were many ways to measure strength. Some species measured it by the size of their armies. Others measured it by the number of worlds they controlled. A few believed true strength came from intelligence. But every few decades, the Galactic Union held a very different event. An event designed to answer a simple question: which species is the toughest in the galaxy? It was called the Trial of Champions. And this year, something unusual was happening. For the first time in history, humans had entered. The Arena of Stars, the arena itself, was enormous. A floating station the size of a city. Thousands of ships orbited around it. Millions of spectators watched from every corner of known space. The Trial of Champions was more than a tournament. It was a celebration, a chance for civilizations to show off their greatest warriors. Inside the Grand Hall, hundreds of species had gathered. Towering reptilian giants, armored insectoid soldiers, 4 armed predators from high-gravity worlds, creatures that looked as though they had been born for war. And then, there were the humans. A delegation of only 5 people. No armor, no ceremonial weapons, no intimidating displays, just simple dark uniforms. The contrast was almost comical. People stared, whispered, some laughed. A few even took pictures. One alien reporter zoomed her camera toward the humans. Are those really the representatives from Earth? Her assistant checked the data. Yes, they look tiny. They're mammals. The reporter blinked. Mammals? Apparently, she looked back at the humans. One of them was drinking coffee. Another was reading something on a tablet. A third looked half asleep. The reporter frowned. This species survived first contact? Captain Elena Torres, at the center of the human delegation, sat Captain Elena Torres. Former rescue pilot. Former military officer. Current representative of Earth. She slowly sipped her coffee. Beside her sat Lieutenant Marcus Reed. He looked around nervously. I don't think they like us. Elena glanced around the room. Thousands of eyes were staring at them. She shrugged. They don't know us. A giant reptilian warrior walked by. He was nearly 3 meters tall. He looked at Marcus, then laughed. Your species sent children? Several nearby warriors joined in. Marcus sighed. It begins. Elena didn't even look up. They're nervous. Nervous? They could crush us. Exactly. Marcus blinked. What? Elena smiled. People who are confident don't need to insult strangers. The strongest species A booming voice echoed through the hall. Representatives, please take your seats. The crowd immediately became quiet. A massive alien stepped onto the stage. This was Chancellor Vorak, the current leader of the Galactic Union. Welcome to the Trial of Champions. The audience erupted into cheers. For thousands of years, this tournament has celebrated courage, endurance, and strength. More cheering. This year, we welcome a new civilization. A holographic image of Earth appeared above the stage. Humanity, the crowd's reaction was mixed. Some applauded politely. Others looked confused. A few laughed. Chancellor Vorak raised one hand. The humans have requested entry into this year's trials. A reptilian delegate stood. On what grounds? Another laughed. They aren't warriors. A third shouted, they don't even have claws. The audience erupted into laughter. Marcus rubbed his face. Can we go home? Elena sipped her coffee. No, the human response. Chancellor Vorak looked toward the human delegation. Captain Torres, would you care to respond? Every eye in the arena turned toward her. Elena slowly stood. She looked around the enormous chamber, then smiled. Honestly? The room became quiet. We just thought it looked fun. Silence, then laughter exploded across the arena. One warrior nearly fell out of his chair. The humans had entered the greatest competition in the galaxy because it looked fun. Even Chancellor Vorak looked surprised. You're serious? Completely. You do understand the purpose of this event? Sure. To determine the toughest species in the galaxy. Elena nodded. Exactly. And you think humans belong here? She smiled. I guess we'll find out. Round 1, the first challenge, was simple. Endurance. Competitors would cross a chamber designed to mimic extreme environments. Temperatures shifted. Gravity changed. Atmospheres varied. Most species struggled. Some failed completely. The reptilian champions crossed in 12 minutes. The insect warriors needed 15. Then came humanity's turn. Captain Torres entered the chamber. The gravity increased. Nothing happened. The temperature dropped below freezing. Nothing happened. The air composition changed. Nothing happened. She simply kept walking, casually, as if she were taking an evening stroll. The spectators stared. Then the chamber simulated hurricane force winds. Her hair moved slightly. That was all. 5 minutes later, she walked out the other side. The entire arena was silent. Marcus checked his watch. New record. The questions begin. A journalist immediately approached the human delegation. What kind of training do your people undergo? Elena blinked. Training to survive those conditions. She looked confused. That's just weather. Silence. What? The freezing temperatures? We have winter. The high winds? We call that Tuesday. The journalist stared. Several nearby species slowly turned toward one another. One of the scientists checked Earth's environmental records. Then checked them again. Then turned pale. The scientist stood. Chancellor. Yes? I believe we have made a mistake. The giant holographic image of Earth appeared. Data scrolled across the screen. Average gravity. Weather patterns. Predators, diseases, natural disasters. Atmospheric instability. The room became quiet. Very quiet. The scientist swallowed. These numbers can't be correct. Chancellor Vorak frowned. What numbers? The scientist looked horrified. Everything. Earth's classification. The giant screen suddenly changed. A red warning appeared. Then another. Then another. Finally, one line appeared in enormous letters. Planetary classification. Extreme Deathworld silence. Absolute silence. One warrior slowly stood. No, the scientist nodded. Yes, another delegate looked at the screen. This has to be a mistake. It isn't. A third looked toward the humans. They evolved there. Apparently, the arena slowly turned toward Captain Torres. She looked at the giant warning on the screen. Then, shrugged. Huh, Marcus blinked. You didn't know? Nope, you never classified Earth? We were busy. The revelation. The scientist's voice trembled. Earth possesses one of the highest predator concentrations ever recorded. The screen changed. Images appeared. Bears, sharks, lions, venomous snakes, crocodiles. The crowd looked horrified. Then came the weather data. Tornadoes, hurricanes, blizzards, earthquakes, volcanoes. The silence became uncomfortable. Then the final statistic appeared. Microbial threat? Nightmare level. Someone in the audience fainted. Captain Torres smiles. Chancellor Vorak slowly looked at the human. You live there? She nodded. Most of us. By choice? Well, our houses are there. The Chancellor stared. The audience stared. The humans looked confused. Finally, Marcus raised his hand. So, are we still in the tournament? Nobody answered. Then an old alien archaeologist slowly stood. He looked at the screen, then at the humans, then back at the screen. His face had become completely pale. I know this world. The arena turned toward him. I've seen these numbers before. Silence. The old scientist swallowed. Then he whispered, no species should have survived there. The entire arena became quiet. Then he looked directly at Captain Torres and asked the question that would change everything. What exactly are humans?